Welcome to Quill Sword Blogcast. Olympic Level Malice. Childless cat lady here. Overweight, virgin, disabled, and Christian. All the things that it's okay to make fun of nowadays. Also cranky and not taking any of the nonsense. Losers punch down. Why bother worrying about what losers think? If you're the kind of loser who thinks you have to denigrate others in order to improve yourself, you're not only a loser, but you're going to stay a loser. Until you figure out that kicking the guy who's down just means you're too worthless to take on the guy who's still standing. Well, those of you who are still here are obviously not losers. Now that we've cleared out the riffraff, let's talk some serious turkey. The problem with what happened at the Olympics isn't that they insulted Christians. It's not even the blatant blasphemy. The problem is that the Olympics are supposed to stand for worldwide unity, for the ideals of peace and cooperation. Instead, the French Olympics stand for malice, hatred, and dissension. Way to go, France! Just when we think you can't get any more special, you go all scorched earth on the hating of Christianity. Burning down Notre Dame wasn't good enough for you? Losers. Seriously, the French people are being represented by the bigoted class on the world stage. No massive protests? Well, yes, you do want to be represented as hateful as the snobs that you elected. Not fair? You're right. There were some supposed significant protests, reportedly. That is unconfirmed as of this writing. If it happened, lackluster coverage is no surprise. Christians, as a general rule, don't do the burn it all down thing the media loves to cover. So much as pro-Christian protests don't get the same coverage, if they get any at all. If it didn't happen, which at the time of this recording I believe that it did not, the French people have spoken their approval of the hatred spewed in their name. After all, protests are the French national pastime. If they can't wave some signs in a few streets, then they must actually approve. Oh, there were some official protests lodged, in addition to some social media uproar. Yay, at least someone cares, right? But the Olympic committees apologized. No, they didn't. We're sorry you took it the wrong way is a backhanded insult, not an apology. Is the American government supporting the International Olympic Committee financially? If we are, it's time to stop. You want to insult most of the American people? Fine, but we don't have to pay for it. Well, I did look it up, and it turns out the U.S. government doesn't seem to be funding any of this nonsense. Good. So Christians, do you support the IOC financially? If so, perhaps you should reconsider, at least until they figure out how to make a real apology. Not a Christian? Okay, so do you want to wait until they attack your religion, ethnicity, or other out-of-favor attribute? Or go ahead and find other things for your money to do right now? If I were a Hindu cat lady, I'd be reconsidering any financial support toward the IOC bigots. After all, it's only a matter of time before they start hating cat ladies too. Should we boycott the Olympics? It's too late. All that does is screw up the athletes who are already there. No, there are better ways to deal with the malicious actors. First, stop visiting France. Rome is beautiful and romantic and doesn't hate Christians. They also haven't burned down the Colosseum, so there's a lot less scaffolding and more attractions. I hear the gelato is really good. And let's face it, Italians can not only cook, they don't let you leave the table hungry. You want to ride around Rome on a Vespa at least once in your life, don't you? Now's the perfect time. Second, stop doing business with companies closely tied to France. That one's pretty easy. Italy makes overpriced fashion accessories as well, and has still got a number of craftsmen who actually make the things by hand. Better value, more unique, and just as showy when you walk down the street. No malicious hatred, just good products, and no snooty Frenchmen to deal with while you do your business. Third, reduce international relationships with France and its close allies. This is more a government thing, but even individual businesses can decide not to risk doing too much business with countries that think it's a good idea to insult over 2 billion people, many in Western nations, and the world's largest religion by adherents. To paraphrase Michael Jordan, Christians buy shoes too. At present, we shouldn't be buying Dutch wooden clogs. Neither should anyone with a legitimate claim to supporting women's rights. And it's time to get to the elephant in the room. Should the Olympics continue? The whole point was to unite the world through sport. That is now gone. So why keep bankrupting cities to host these overhyped amateur games? We could just as easily create more international leagues and spread both the cost and benefits to a lot more cities around the world. Why build one facility for one use when leagues could build multiple arenas for hosting many more games? Most years, the U.S. makes money doing exactly that with both the NFL and the NBA alone. Let the athletes make money as professionals. Face it, they aren't true amateurs at their level of competition. Create world leagues and let athletes do their jobs more than once every 4 years while making a decent living doing it. Sure, easier said than done. What isn't? But individual sports having to compete for viewership aren't likely to take pleasure in offending any of the world's religions. It's simply not worth it. More to the point, having so many international leagues would foster international cooperation in ways the Olympics never could. The Olympics had a good run. The modern Olympics began in 1896. 128 years is nothing to sneeze at. But the Olympics no longer wish to foster that original idea. Without it, the Olympics really aren't worth the effort. Better to end it now before they do anything worse. Maybe someday we could revive the Olympics with the true spirit of unity, peace, and cooperation. Who knows, stranger things have happened. But before they degrade any further, it's time to stop. The world doesn't need international lessons in hatred, intolerance, and malice. We have wars aplenty for that. As for France, loser nation states are losers. They can keep their stupid chateaus and trashy handbags. When they decide to act like grown-up nation state that doesn't punch down at others and doesn't display its basest nature at one of the world's most idealized gatherings, the French will be more than welcome back into the community of nations. But for now, viva la Italia! I hear Naples is gorgeous this time of year, not to mention the cool gondolas in Venice. Nice people, lovely European country, unique flair, and all without having to hate anyone. Don't hate France, but don't reward its bad behavior either. Hatred, no matter who it is directed at, will not make the world a better place. Wasn't helping improve the world in part of what the Olympics was all about? Keep the good. Work on making the world a better place. But also discard the bad. Don't keep associating with those who tear down, because they will eventually tear you down too. France has made its choice. Now's the time for all good men to make theirs. If you can't choose good over evil, you won't like how things end up. Choose love, not hate. That's what Jesus would do. Love, not hate. I can't speak for his vacation choices, but his word doesn't teach us to hate, not even our enemies, not even France. So don't hate France or anyone else. Don't become the monster. But at the same time, St. Peter's Basilica is gorgeous, not surrounded by scaffolding or people trying to burn it down. Might be nice to visit a place that doesn't hate you for worshiping Christ. Don't hate. Don't support hate either. Man, this peace and love stuff is tough, isn't it?